Hey there YouTube, this is Sign19 coming with you with another deck profile. Today we are doing a little series here where I take D-series decks and turn them into premium decks. Again, as always, we're keeping it very budget friendly here. We're not trying to break the bank when doing this. If you already have this deck, if not, go pick it up. It's very simple to get the Magnolia deck for less than $5. The parts that you need to make this deck are less than $10, I would say, in overall encompassing. The deck stays true to its playstyle where you have units attacking in the back row. Unfortunately, because we don't have a unit that allows us to use Magnolia's skill, we have to supplement those 6 attacks with multi-attacking, and I'm going to explain how we do that, what cards I would take out for the new set for set 3 coming out, and things like that. We're also going to go over the G zone. Very simple, very straightforward. G zone helps the deck stay in its ballpark. There are other stronger stride units that you could use, especially the new ones coming from the Revival collection for premium, but those in my testing have proved to not work so well for this playstyle because they really don't allow you to maintain a deck. You deck out a little too fast using those type of strides, but with the batch that I've came up with, we should be able to maintain a good flow of the game and also stay true to that Magnolia playstyle. Without further ado, we're just going to jump right into the deck profile, starting with the grade 3s and working our way down, explaining a few things, talking about a few things that we would take out for set 3 coming up, and some things that we might add from the V collection or Venium collection coming up about next month. So without further ado, this is Magnolia. So first things first, we're going to start off with 4 copies of Sylvanhorn Beast King Magnolia. So for all of our D players who play D, you all should know what Magnolia does by now, but if not, here's a little bit of a fresher course. Magnolia has the ability to, after the battle that it attacks, counterblast one, choose one of your units and give it plus 5k power. Then choose another unit and choose a unit, and that unit can attack from the back row. If you persona rolled, you can choose 3 units instead of 1. So back in D, you are able to multi-attack by having 6 units attack in concert with each other. Unfortunately, because we're using strides in this deck, you kind of get locked off to that skill, but what we really need for Magnolia is just the Magnolia name. So we're going to explain why and then in the further of the video. So the next grade 3 that we play, because unlike the D version, we do play a backup grade 3. You can get this grade 3 out of the Revival collection. This card for me currently is just a placeholder until we get the new cards coming in the V collection next month. So this card we're playing from the Revival collection is Amazing Professor Big Belly. So Big Belly has a couple of skills and a few things, but we're really just looking at his second skill, but we're going to go through it. Big Belly has a Vanguard Rearguard Success skill. For those who don't know, success is a keyword that Great Nature, which is the pairing clan that we're using for our nation for Stokeia, has. It says success 20k or higher. So Big Belly's first skill is that when he is placed or when you stride over him, you can play one. You can summon 1 card from your hand, give it plus 4k power, and then at the end of your turn, retire that unit, draw 1 card. So when you place him, you can call 1, and then when you stride on top of him, you can call another. That way you're plussing 2 at the end of the turn. Basically, you're negating 0 because you're calling out 2 units from your hand just to replace them at the end of your turn. But the skill that we mostly are looking at here is his second skill, his Vanguard Rearguard skill, which is Generation Break 1. If this unit is successful, meaning if its power is 20k or higher, when it battles, you can counterblast 1, stand another rearguard, and give that unit plus 4k power. So, as you can see, we're multi-attacking by instead of having 6 unit attacks, we're having 1 unit attack multiple times. But the card that I would take out of this that coming in the V selection would be Chat Noir, because Chat Noir has the ability with a lottery skill to allow one of your units to attack from the back row. So I'm more focused on having that unit have the ability to attack from the back row, seeing how we're locked off from Magnolia skill to do it. So we need other cards to simplify it, to supplement that ability. So that's it for all the grade 2s. We're going to go into the, for all the grade 3s, we're going to go into all the grade 2s now. We play 4 copies of Silverhorn Beast Damanuru. So, as we were talking about having cards supplement Magnolia skill, Damanuru is that card for Stokea. Damanuru says, when placed, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your rear guards. Choose one of your rear guards, and it gets plus 5k, and then it also gets the ability to attack from the back row. So with the wording of this card, you can also choose Damanuru as the unit that can attack from the back row and gain that plus 5k from its own skill. Then it has the follow-up skill. Act once per turn. When this unit is chosen by your Vanguard skill, it gains another plus 5k power. Which, if you cannot go into your main target as for the back row multi-attack unit, this is a good backup card. Meaning it gets plus 5k through its own skill, and then when the Vanguard chooses it, it gets another plus 5k, making it a 20k unit. Meaning it hits that successful Great Nature power skill. This tears very well with Great Nature. So, our next grade 2 is also a Silverhorn Beast, Duger. Now, the reason why I'm running Duger right now, Duger wasn't always in this deck. I was running the bear. I can't really pronounce the bear's name off the top of my head. I also was running the bear. Now, the idea with the bear is that you would swing, counterblast 1, give power to something, use something like Big Belly to restand it, do it again. But the problem with that playstyle is it is doable, but it is very counterblast heavy. So I went with Duger just for the simple fact that he does not have a counterblast, and then if you have a full board, which most times you're going to have a full board, he's already at that 15k threshold, so all he needs is an extra plus 5 from cards like Damanuru to get to that 20k threshold for success. Now keep in mind that success number is very important in this deck. Most of your cards for the Great Nature lot are asking for your units to be at 20k power or higher. And having the fact that Duger already gets to 15 for having a full board, and then Damanuru giving it the ability to attack from back row and gain an extra plus 5 is a very great combo. Now the last grade 2 we played, this is also from the Revival Collection. Now this card needed a reprint. It was so great that Great Nature got this as a reprint. What I'm talking about is 4 copies of Crayon Tiger. So Crayon Tiger is our grade 2 unit that allows other units to restand after Generation Break 1. But the catch is, unlike Big Belly, who can just do it on its own, Crayon Tiger needs to be boosted. So we need a grade 1 or a grade 0 or anything else in the deck that allows boost to boost Crayon Tiger to allow it to restand. That is the only reason why Crayon Tiger is here, is that, again, that great multi-attacking strategy. Crayon Tiger helps with that. So that is all the grade 2s. Now we're going to go into the grade 1s. We played 2 copies of Diligent Assistant Mini Belly. Now, without being said, Mini Belly is our grade 3 searcher. This card is going to go up to being a 4 of. Currently, I don't have the other 2 copies. I'm working very diligently to get them. But Mini Belly here is a very crucial piece to this tapestry that we're weaving. As I said, it's a grade 3 searcher. We're not really concerned about its constant skill because we're not playing any Excel as of yet. So there isn't currently a possibility of us having an extra rear guard circle to gain that extra plus 5. But it is here just to help us find a dig for Magnolia. Now another crucial piece to that tapestry we're weaving is 3 copies of Label Penguin. Label Penguin's here to be our counter charger. As I said before, this deck is very counter blast heavy, so we need to refund some of our costs. So Label says, when placed, choose one of your units, and if its power is successful, which means if it's 20k or higher, at the end of the battle that it attacked, you can counter charge 1, soul charge 1. As you know, we're playing a lot of Soul Blast and a lot of counter charge cards, so this card having the ability to be placed on that one unit that's going to constantly attack because it's constantly being restood, meaning that we can literally just use one counter blast for the entire turn while also filling back up our soul. This card also is a very key point to this deck. Now the last card we're playing here is here for straight power and nothing more. We play 4 copies of Conspiring Mutant Ad Mantis. So a Mantis here is just to gain raw power. On place, give something plus 5k. That is all he's here for, and the fact that he's a gray one with boost just helps the whole Cran Tiger playstyle. That is all he's here for. Now we're going to go into the grade zeros. We're playing 4 copies of Wild Intelligence. Now this is a Magnolia deck. We want to have Magnolia as the vanguard so we can play things like Wild Intelligence, which allows us to mill the top 3 cards of our deck for a counterblast, and then because we have Magnolia as the vanguard, resurrect 2 units who grades equal or less than to Magnolia's. But here's a catcher: if you're in a stride, there's nothing, you're at grade 4, so you have pretty much access to the entire drop zone at that point. Once I get more mini bellies and things like that to increase the grade 1 count, this card is going to drop to a 3 of. I recommend you only playing this card at 3 because we do play certain cards that need to be lottery milled, and if you hit the order card, you don't get anything. That is the only hiccup to the lottery action, that if you hit a order, you don't get anything. So as always, we have our V starter. We have Jet Ink Fox, which has the V starter skill. When rolled upon, draw 1 card. If you're going second, you get a quick shield. So just having that +1 draw and the possible go +2 if you're going second with the quick shield can't really be beat. You need your pieces in this deck. You need to be able to draw as much as possible in the deck to circumference that playstyle. So we're going to go into the triggers now. We play 4 copies of Silverhorn Beast Via Toro. This is the Silverhorn heal trigger. We're trying to keep the price down in this deck. If you have the budget to get the counter charge, soul charge heal triggers, I would recommend those. Or you can also use the VR 20k shields. It's all depending on how you want to play your deck, but seeing how this is a Magnolia build, I wanted to keep some of the Silverhorn Beast cards in here. It doesn't really hurt the deck playstyle because again, you're not really using this card for shield value. You're using this card to pitch for your G Guardians. Next, we play 4 copies of Cable Sheep. This is our draw PG. You need perfect guards in this deck. 30k shields are great, criticals are great, but you want to have things to completely guard against your opponent's deck. Again, you're just starting to learn premium. You need to be able to completely guard things just to stay safe. And having a draw trigger deck, just again, we need our pieces. You need to be able to draw as much as possible. Next, we also play 4 copies of Femination Professor Exonotion. This is our critical stride fighter. Again, this is a stride deck, so you need to be able to stride. The stride fighter, what a stride fighter is that it's a card that allows the skill to allow its grade to go up to 3. To stride, you need to pay the cost of a card in your hand with grade 3 or higher, or cards with the sum of grade 3 or higher. Its skill says when played for a stride, this card's grade go up to 3. So it goes from 0 to 3, allowing you to stride automatically. And then our last 2, we play 3 copies of Curious Pony. This card is another great critical for your deck. It is a Generation Break 1. When your Vanguard swings, put this card into your soul and draw 1 card, and your Vanguard gains 10k power until the end of turn. Until the end of that battle. Excuse me. So this card allows you to not only be a critical, get a draw, fill your soul, and give power. So this card is an all-encompassing great card. And speaking of all-encompassing, we also play the Stokea Over trigger. So this is a true Omni trigger. When triggered in your drive check, you get to draw 2 cards, give your ephemeral plus 10k, give a unit +1 critical, heal if you're able to, and then due to the over trigger effect, you also draw an extra card, so that's why I said draw 2. So this card is a draw trigger, a heal trigger, a front trigger, a critical trigger. Only thing that it can't do is be a stand trigger, which would have been crazy if this actually allowed you to restand a unit. But that's every card in the main deck. We're trying to keep it very streamlined and very cheap on the aspect. Now we're going to go into the G zone. So the G zone alone is very linear. So you're going to be going into maybe one of 3 different strides, and those cards help you push your playstyle a bit further and basically just keep you alive. So our main stride that we're going to usually go into is Omniscience Dragon Kidney Helk. Weird name. I think a lot of these Great Nature strikes have a lot of Indian inspired names, so excuse me on the pronunciation of these things. I really cannot pronounce them too well, but what I can read is the skill. So this card says successful 25k or more, which means once you stride into this thing, if your Vanguard is Magnolia. So for those who don't know, stride units have power which is 15k or more, which means when they stride, they gain not only the name of the heart card or the grade 3 they're striding on top of, but its power. So 15 plus 13 is 18, so this becomes a 28k unit. So the moment you stride, you're already successful. You're already passing that 25k threshold, so you're already successful the moment you stride. The next card says, when placed, choose up to 4 cards from your drop zone and put them onto the bottom of your deck. If you did, choose one of your units and give it plus 4k power, then at the end of the turn, draw 1 card and retire that unit. So, for those who don't know, it says choose any unit. You can also choose your over trigger if you drew into it or damage checked it and somehow got it into your drop zone. This card can put it back into your deck. So keep that in mind, but the simple fact that what we're here for is to keep our deck alive as much as possible. You're going to blow through your deck pretty fast with this type of playstyle, not only because of the soul charging, but again because of the drawing and your normal drive trigger checks and things like that. And on top of that, you're milling cards out of your deck. So you're going to go through your deck pretty fast. So you want to have some way to recur your deck. So our next stride that we're playing is 4 copies of Long Life Honorary Professor Sylvest. So Sylvest also has a success plus 25. So just like I said before, as soon as you stride into it, you're already as successful. Its skill also states is if you have 3 or more rear guards, this unit gets plus 10k power. So not only is it 28, it becomes 38 by itself, and then continuous. When this unit becomes successful, you draw 1 card. So the moment that you stride in this card, you draw 1 card. And the moment that you have 3 or more rear guards, it gains plus 10k power permanently for the turn. So it is a very good mid-range card. This card right now for me is just a placeholder as well. I'm also planning on adding to this deck Omniscience Dragon Affect, which skill states counterblast 1, choose a face down card from your G zone, turn it face up, choose any number of your rear guards until the end of turn they get. This unit cannot be retired by card effects, and for each rear guard chosen with this effect, this unit gains plus 4k. Now the point to that card is that, let me just move this to the side. The point to that card that what I will be adding to the deck in replace of Sylvest is that it gives all units the ability to not be retired at the end of the turn. So first and foremost is choosing units. So when you choose a unit, Demaru gets plus 5k when it's chosen by the Vanguard skill. Secondly, cards like Tiger, who at the end of the turn, if it chose a unit to restand, it retires itself at the end of the turn. But the catcher is, if you play that stride and give the unit that Tiger restored the ability not to retire, you still get to draw and you still get to keep that body on the board. That's the point of Fennec, to keep bodies on the board so you're not wasting cards and having to try harder to get them back out of the drop zone. So cards like Duger, where you don't want to get rid of Duger because it's a constant skill, doesn't need to be placed. You just don't want to get rid of it. if you don't have to. So having cards like to keep Duker on board, but also being able to plus, that is a card that you cannot pass up in this type of deck. And for our last stride unit that we're playing, we play one copy of Omniscience Dragon Chaknakam. So Chaknakam here is to help affiliate the Generation Break 8 if you so wish to get the Generation Break 8. For me, I don't really have it. I would like to, but I just don't. It's another card that I have to get my hands on. If you haven't noticed, I have a limited amount of supply for Great Nature cards. This is my first time playing or even building towards Great Nature. So I'm just in the passenger seat, just like you guys are, and learning as I go. So this card says, when a card is put into your drop zone from your rear guard or from your deck, put that card to the bottom of your deck. So basically what this card says, this card is tailor-made to the lottery mechanic in V Premium. That where you mill cards out of your deck, you get them right back to the bottom deck. That way your deck did not change in its number count. Then it also has the ability, when your rear guards attack, you can Soul Blast one, turn a card face up in your G zone, and give that unit plus 5k for every face up card in your G zone. Then at the end of your turn, at the end of that battle, retire that unit. So remember, when a unit is retired from rear guard, it also gets sent to the bottom of the deck. So this card here is just to help you, just like the first stride, to refund your deck. Just so you do not deck out. So you have an option of either playing 2 affect and upping the cost of this card to 3, or any variation thing. I might just be playing 2 affect and 3 of this, and 4 of the first stride I showed you. Still playing around with the numbers, but this card helps you tremendously to keep your units in your deck. That way you can refund them. There's not that many cards that allow you to shuffle, so that's why Mini Belly is so paramount in this deck. It's right now is the only card that allows you to search your deck. That means it's the only card that allows you to shuffle your deck. Okay, so now we're going to go into one more stride. We do also play the Progenitor of Zoo. So this is Progenitor Dragon of Regal Birth, Magnolia. So Magnolia is here just to be a second chance. So Magnolia says, when you stride by paying the cost of your Vanguard, which is similar to an ultimate stride, but doesn't have the same feedback kick if you don't finish the game. Basically what it's saying is that you have to pay the cost with the same name as your Vanguard. So if your Vanguard is Magnolia, instead of going into a Persona ride, you have to pitch Magnolia to stride into this. But here is the reason why you might want to do that. On place, discard 2 cards, and then for any reason that you would lose the game, you return all cards from your hand and from your damage zone to your deck, shuffle your deck, and deal yourself 5 damage. This just allows you to have an extra turn. So for example, if you lose and your opponent still has other units that could attack you, his turn is automatically turned off. So his turn automatically goes to the end phase, because technically you lost the game already, but this card just gives you another chance. But you may be wondering, well, I get 5 extra damage to work with, but I don't have any cards in my hand. There is a combo to this card with another card I'm about to show you right now. We played 2 copies of Sheltered Heroes Spangled. So Spangled says, counterblast 1 on place. Flip up another G Guardian. G Guardians are units with a green border. And then for every grade 3 or less Guardian that you have in your Guardian circle, at the end of that battle, draw that same number of cards. So the idea is to put down just about 5 cards out of your hand into your Guardian circle, go into Spangled. If for whatever reason that you still lose, if you know you're going to lose because you don't have enough shield value, or whatever the case being, when Magnolia kicks off and does its entire skill, Spangled skill goes second and allows you to draw 5 new cards. That way you're starting your new turn with a fresh hand. Now the next 2 G Guardians that we played 2 Immortality Professor Kundime Timony. I don't know how to pronounce these names. Well, basically this card is our +5 to shield. So this card says, when placed, choose one of your rear guards, give it the ability. At the end of the turn, your opponent's turn, retire that unit. If so, countercharge 1. And if you've chosen a unit, this unit gets +5 to its shield. So this becomes a 20k shield just for allowing you to choose a unit to sacrifice to gain a countercharge. All encompassing, that's great, because there are a lot of cards that you want to have in your drop zone. That way you can go into things like, that way you can use things like Wild Intelligent, especially your on-play skills, to get them back and use their on-play skills again. Because once their on-play skills go off, they're on the board, they're basically just vanilla cards at that point. Their skills are not able to be used again, because you have no way to bounce them back to your hand. So the only best way is to get rid of them to the drop zone, use Wild Intelligence to get them back on the board so you can use their skills again. And our last G Guardian, which I might be changing or I might not, is the new Symbol Monkey. Now, when I first saw this card, I did not understand this card in the slightest. I don't know why Bushiroad would even make this card. It has a very simple skill. When placed, all other units get +5k power. So at first glance, you may think, oh, my opponent's entire board is losing +5. It's not just your opponent. You are also losing +5 on every unit you have, including your Vanguard. I did not know why this card was even made or why Japan was very happy to have this card, but in testing I did learn that this card is a very good card against Excel players, for the simple fact that they could be swinging at your Vanguard with power like 28, 27, 31, things like that, things that you may not have enough card shield to deal with. But with Symbol Monkey, especially your opponent's columns, it technically minuses 10k off of their columns, turning their 27s into 17s, their 28s into 18s, their 31s into 21s. And if you have enough space to take an extra damage, if you get a damage trigger, your Vanguard may be at 8, but then it sprouts up to 18. And if you're able to take more damage and just get lucky enough to hit a few damage triggers, you're basically out of reach of your opponent's units attacking you. So, especially if you're going up against an Excel deck, this is a very good counter to an Excel deck. You just gotta play it right and hope for the best. Okay, so in a few minutes, I'm about to show you a combo that you can perform with this deck to really get a good idea of what this deck can do. So, we'll be back in a moment. Okay, and we're back. So, let's say you're about to take your first stride turn, right? You're at 3 damage, this is what your hand consists of, and you have a mini belly on board. So you go pitch a grade 3 for stride, you stride into, because we don't have enough cards in the drop zone, you really wouldn't stride into this card per se, just first. So just for the sake of things, let's say we stride into Sylvis. So Sylvis' skill says, when he becomes successful, you draw 1 card. So we're going to draw a new card. Right? Then Sylvis says if you have 3 more units, you get plus 10k power, but we have only 1 unit on board right now. So let's fill our board up. So we're going to play into that same playstyle. So we're going to call Duger. Then we're going to call Cran Tiger. So Sylvis' skill immediately kicks in. We immediately get that plus 10k power. And then we're going to follow up on that. We're going to play Damaru. Damaru's skill, Soul Blast 1. Choose a unit on my board and give it plus 5k power. And then that unit can attack from the back row. So in addition to that, we're going to play Mantis, giving Duger another plus 5k power. Then Duger's skill kicks in, giving itself another plus 5k power because I have a full board now. So we're going to retire Mantis. Duger loses the power. We're going to go into Label Pangolin. Pangolin's skill, we're going to give Duger Pangolin skill to where if it's successful, which it is now because it's at a 20k base, every time Duger attacks at the end of his battle, it's going to counter charge me 1 and soul charge me 1. But then I'm going to retire Pangolin to then go into Curious Pony. which then boosts Duger to 15, making Duger a 25k unit on my board with the Pangolin skill. And then I would just go into my turn. I would go attack here for 14, then I would attack with Duger. Duger will attack for 25. Duger skill, I would counter charge and then soul charge 1. And then I would go Cran Tiger. Cran Tiger skill, counter blast 1, restand Duger skill, give Duger plus 4k power. So now Duger is a 29k unit. Attack. Then we would go attack with the Vanguard. Duger loses his extra plus 5k power, which now puts him down to a 24k unit. But that's okay. Using skill opponent, we draw 1 card. Then our Vanguard would swing, sitting at a good 3,800. Now, giving extra plus 10k, is now a 48k unit. We would do our triple drive. First check, draw trigger, giving all effects to Duger. Draw 1 card. Second check, heal trigger. We would heal 1 damage, giving another plus 10k to Duger. So just to simplify, we're gonna borrow this, giving another plus 10k to Duger. Final check, no trigger. So now Duger is sitting at a whopping 10, 20, 40, 44. If we had another unit, it would be a 49k unit. So now Duger will attack for 49k. Sorry, 44k. Skill. At the end of the battle, soul charge 1. So not only is your soul good, your counter charging is good, and you have all units on the board. At the end of your turn, due to Cran Tiger's skill, because it gave Duger the power to restand, I draw 1 extra card, and Duger retreats. And then I go back into Magnolia. So not only did we went 1 attack, 2 attack, 2 attack, 3 attack, 4 attack, 5 attacks in total, keeping true to the Magnolia playstyle. If we had another unit that allowed us to restand, like Big Belly on the board, we could have gone 6 attacks. We could have played Big Belly in this spot. As he played Doomer to give Duger the ability, and then Big Belly would have been successful due to one of those triggers going to Big Belly. Then after this attack, restand Duger, Duger attacked again, Big Belly attack, restand Duger again, give it another plus 4k, then attack again. That's a total of 6 attacks per turn. So with all that, you're still able to do the full Magnolia playstyle without even needing to use Magnolia skill. And remember, if you Persona Ride and you're using Big Belly, it immediately goes into success because Magnolia's Persona Ride gives the front row plus 10k. So please keep that in mind. So we're going to clean up here, and then we're going to go into closing thoughts, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So a few thoughts. I really do like this playstyle. I'm glad that I came up with didn't come up with the idea, but I'm glad I decided to try to make Overdress decks into premium decks, because it turned out pretty great. There's a lot of good synergy with Great Nature and Magnolia. Magnolia, to my opinion, was based off of Great Nature. As you can see, their motifs kind of do match up. If Magnolia were to go into a stride, I think it might look something like this. But I think this deck has done a very good job. There's a lot of room for growth with all the new Great Nature cards that are coming out. There's a lot of room for growth. If you guys want to see this deck work with any other Zoo Nation, Neo Nectar, Mega Colony, you guys let me know down below. This deck Magnolia can also work with Megalonica clans, Great Nature, not Great Nature, Aqua Force, and Grand Blue, which I don't really think this deck works too well with Grand Blue, but there's room for argument. But I think it works best with Great Nature. If you guys like what you saw, please leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 100 subscribers. I'm in the works of getting our next special up. I plan on doing a special every 50 subscribers we get. So after this 100th episode, or 100 subscriber special, if we are able to get our special guest, once we reach 150, I will try to get another. But no promises. I'm doing my best. But if you like what you saw, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell down below so you can be alerted to the next time that I upload a video. This is just episode 2 of Overdress into Premium. If you don't know what episode 1 is, that means you haven't been watching my channel. So look back and see which Overdress deck that I've already took into Premium and see how I built that out. But I will be trying to go down the line with every single Overdress deck that we have so far, other than besides Overlord and PBD. I pretty much think those are kind of straightforward to which premium decks you can make out of those. But I will be going down the line, I will be testing, and then when I feel comfortable with how the deck is performing, I will bring it to you on my channel. But always keeping a reminder that this is a budget friendly channel and we're going to keep the price as low as possible. Once you find that the deck is at your best at a low price, then you can start adding towards your budget. But I know I said it, this is like the third time I'm saying it, please subscribe, hit the notification button, like the video. Your likes helps this channel a lot grow, lets me know that what I'm doing is working. And if you don't like the video, don't hesitate to hit the dislike button. But if you do hit the dislike button, please leave a comment down below so I know what I can do better, so we can get this channel to where I think it can go. But as always, this has been Sonic19 saying see you later. Oh, and as a little PS thing, I'm thinking about changing my name. If you guys have any ideas, please leave them down in the comment down below to what my new name should be, if I should change it. But yeah, see you later.